Welcome to Savor the Story podcast, where books and snacks are life. Hello, I'm Nicole. That's Vanessa. Hey.
Hello. How's it going?
It's going
I feel
great.
like it's been, because we didn't record on our normal day, I feel like it's been a long time since we've talked.
Yes, it has been, because I even in the intro, it's been long enough where the intro I was like, wait a second, what am I supposed to say? Did I say everything?
Yes, you said everything this time, which is great. So
Yes.
even though it's only been a couple days longer than we normally would wait, it feels like forever.
Agreed. But, and even then, I still didn't do anything like extra. Even if I had the extra couple days and we weren't counting it, I still can't even be like, I did all these extra things.
Oh, no.
No.
We're still lamos.
I'm still boring.
Yes. Well, in that extra time, Tim did come home from his wild excursion.
Yes. I watched all of the Instagram posts. I looked at his little ticker every single, every time I had a meeting, like a break in between meetings. I was like, wonder where Tim is right now.
Yes. Well, for those who did not do that, I'll give a very short update. He ended up DNFing, which means he did not finish.
Ugh.
He stopped at mile 165. Which is still great, but it ultimately was a safety issue of him continuing because he, in his brain fog, ended up doing 2 extra miles that he was not supposed to do. And in that 2 miles, in the heat of the day of Arizona, got massively dehydrated, and it was unsafe for him to continue. So it was a crew and runner decision for him to stop. Do not continue. Let's be safe and keep you alive.
We could try this another time.
Yes. So the signups are actually next week for next year, and he already has a reminder set on his phone. He will be signing up for next year's Cocodona 250. He's trying it again. So and he's like, I know I could do it. I just, it was just like 1 or 2 small bad decisions and I could have done it. And he's like, well, now I just have to prove that I can do it. So he did, though, say that once he finishes this, he's not going to do any more 200 plus races. So
how many other 200 plus races are there? This feels like a trick.
There's a few. There's a few.
I mean, he said it like there's like, 300 more races that he can do that are over 200 miles. And I just like, this feels like a trick, Tim. Like, oh no, don't worry, Vanessa.
Right.
I will not do any more 200 plus mile races. When in reality, there's only 5.
Right, exactly. That might be true. There might be only like a handful of them.
I'm on to you, Tim.
But at least let's just get this one. We'll get it under his belt. We could say that he did it, and then we don't ever have to think about them again. We could just stick with 100-mile races. So that is the
Seems much more reasonable.
Right. That's what he said. He was like talking shit about it. He's like, oh yeah, 100 is nothing now. And I'm like, okay, let's talk about that when you can go faster.
Yeah. Right now I could beat you in a 150-mile race.
That's right. So yeah, he's definitely determined. He's got this obsessive, the way his mind is just very obsessive. So now that he hasn't finished, it will be the only thing that he talks about for the next year. So
good.
Yeah, I told him I'm not sure which one is worse. Like, is it worse that you actually finish, or is it worse that you DNF'd? I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, well, I am super excited for you and all of the future conversations that you get to have about Cocodona 250.
Thank you. Yes, I do already have some plans, though, about how we can change, how I can help him through the race and, all that kind of stuff. So we're going to be very, very prepared next year. This man will finish it because I will not hear about it again.
This is the last chance, Tim.
This is your last chance.
You don't do this, you're gonna never. This is just your life. Big old fat DNF.
That's right. However, he did listen to us for quite a bit of it. He listened to like 3 or 4 episodes of ours while he was out there. And
was he saving them for the?
Yes, he had been.
Cool.
Yeah, he had been saving some like previous ones that he hadn't listened to, and so he was like, "It was so nice listening to you guys just chat. It was like we were hanging out in the middle of the desert."
I know. We should have just made a recording of
just for
us,
him,
us just talking for like.
Yes.
Like I don't know what we would have talked about, but we would have got it all.
Yes. So yeah. So that's my little baby update. We can move on from Tim's craziness now.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry you DNF'd Tim, but 160 plus miles is still a lot of miles. So.
That's still too many miles.
And I know next year you got it. So.
Yep. Exactly.
I reserve my congratulations for them.
Okay,
and the crumble cookie that I promised.
Yes, that's right. I did buy him crumble cookies, so he has them here today. I bought him a chocolate chip one.
Nice.
I did buy other ones, but they did not make it to today. So sorry. He did get the chocolate chip one is still here, so he has that at least for his birthday.
Nice.
Whoops.
Well, happy birthday, Tim.
Yep, happy birthday, and that's all. The end.
Well, I did not run 150 miles in the last week. I think I ran 2, maybe 3.
Okay.
Yeah, I found a new running path, and yeah, not best pleased. I hate running.
No.
So.
You don't? Okay, so it's because of the running, not because of the new path.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, it was apparently you can run like over to a park and it has like lots of miles of trails, and so I ran to the park and I started running through the park through the trails, but I have never been in it before, so I started just running and there's trails and trails and trails, and I got to the point where I was like a mile in and I was like, if I don't turn around and go home,
Right.
I'm gonna have to walk like 20 miles to get home because I don't know where the fuck I am.
Yes.
So I ended up just turning around, and I did get like not a lot lost, but because it's always easier running out. It's like, oh, this energy, and then you have to commit to the run back. And that's where I was like, I'm really tired and it's really hot outside. And I don't have any water. So
Oh no, Nicole.
I know. I fucked up. I was like, it's only going to be like a 2-mile run. And then 4 miles later, I was like, I'm kind of tired. Yeah, my 4 miles, Tim.
Yeah. You tried to be like Tim and dehydrate yourself.
I know. I wanted to be able to feel his pain.
That's right.
What was Tim feeling in this race? So I purposely got lost and then didn't drink any water.
Okay, great.
It was terrible.
Great solidarity. Don't do that again, okay? Thank you.
No.
Okay.
So what else? Oh, the only reason I bring up what I did this week
Yes.
is because we went to the Sturgill Hill Simpson concert.
You
this
did?
week. Yes.
Nice.
Yes, and it was the one, if you've listened to previous episodes, it's the one where I had the whole adventure where I bought the tickets on pre-sale, which I've never done before, and so I've never been to, I haven't really been to a concert like this ever, but
Okay.
we were really close. We were 9 rows away from the front. I
Really?
did not realize how close we were. Yeah, we were 9 rows from the front, so we were
Nice.
really close. And then I didn't know that this was a thing. And the only reason I bring it up is because it's kind of snacky.
Okay.
We got there, so we left. We were like, oh, we'll go out and get dinner, and then we'll go to the concert, or we'll go park and wait for the concert, try and get a good spot. We got there, so we went and ate, and then we got there. There were people tailgating.
Oh. It was a tailgate situation.
Yeah, I've never been in, like, to a concert like that, where it was like, because it was kind of out in the middle of nowhere.
Okay.
So they had, like, a big field that you just parked in.
Okay.
And there were people there, like, they had, like, grills set up.
Wow.
They had tables set up with food. Everybody was, like, cracking drinks and stuff like that. And we were like, man, we fucked up.
Yeah, that was the way to do it. I don't think I've ever seen people tailgate at a concert before. Because normally I feel like the parking lots for those are so, like, strict of timing and, like, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right. So
Yeah.
how was the show?
It was great. Yeah.
Good.
I've never been to a Sturgill Simpson. I wasn't really 100% sure what to expect. I like a lot of his old music.
Okay.
It was like almost like 3.5 hours, a little over 3.5 hours of a concert. So
Okay.
it was really long.
Yeah.
And I guess his new album is a lot of like psychedelic rock.
Okay.
Almost. So like we're sitting there and I was listening and I was like repeating riffs and stuff like that. And I was like, huh, is this what the song sounds like on the CD? Or
Right.
the CD.
On the CD.
On the CD. I was like, I know at least 2 or 3 times I turned to Mike and I was like, have you heard this song? And he was like, no. And I was like, I wonder if this is what it actually sounds like.
Okay.
But yeah,
so all of the newer stuff you weren't as familiar with.
I wasn't familiar with any of his new stuff, and and you could definitely tell that it was like a jam session for them.
Oh, they were just having a grand
they
old
were just
time.
having a good time because like at one point it has to be really difficult to be a musician like this because they're doing like they're repeating riffs and everyone like somebody will do like their own little thing or whatever and you'll look over and like one of the guitarists is like changing out his guitar and he's like tuning it while the other ones are just like dee 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 dee. And I was just like, oh my gosh. Like
that's gotta be a fun tour for them to be on though, where they like have their set list, but then also like you just get to have fun with your band friends.
Yeah. He basically said he said when he came out and they started playing, but he made a comment about halfway through and he was like, yeah, we had a set list, but we stopped following it about 12 seconds in. And I was like, oh. Okay. All right, cool.
They were like, we don't care about that anymore. We're just going to play how we feel.
Yeah. And then at one point, he's like pointing to people in the pit and he's like, what song do you want to hear? And they would be like, I want to hear whatever. And then he'd be like, all right, cool. And so then he'd start playing.
Wow. Like, oh
okay.
My gosh. That's crazy. I can't imagine going into a show like that where they're just like, we'll see what happens.
Right. Like, what do you want to hear?
He's basically a mood reader for music.
Yeah. So, yeah, it was great.
Funny. Okay, good.
We had a really good time. We did try to sneak in some like late night snacks. But we could not find anything open. So I think after the 4th or 5th try, because we were like, oh, look, there's a McDonald's, there's a Wendy's, there's a Taco Bell. And we couldn't, after the 4th or 5th try, I looked at Mike and I was like,
I'm done.
No, I'm going home.
Yes.
You can eat a snack at home. We
That's
have food there. And he was like,
Uh-huh.
no, like, we have ice cream.
Yes, that was the universe telling you, you do not get fast food. Get your ass home.
You do not need this.
No.
So.
Well, I'm sad for you in that.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
But, so I didn't get my fast food.
Okay.
But I'm going to tell you my snack really quick.
Did you have it at the show?
No.
Oh, okay.
I had a pretzel at the show.
Okay.
I ate like the whole pretzel.
Okay.
Like got like that much.
Okay.
But it's not my snack.
Okay.
I made pineapple upside down cake this week.
Oh, yes.
And it was delicious.
Nice.
And that is what I will be rating this week.
Was that your first time making that or have you made it before?
It's the first time since we've been in this house.
That's not what I mean.
But pineapple upside down cake is one of Mike's favorites. Ethan really likes it.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it was like one of my father's favorite cakes as well.
Okay.
So we've had a lot of pineapple upside down cake.
Okay.
So
I don't think I've ever had pineapple upside down cake.
what?
I don't think so.
Oh my gosh.
Not that I can recall. Can I tell you that this is a perfect segue into something I was going to tell you?
Yes.
Okay. So remember in a previous episode, you asked me what technology I want to exist.
Yes.
It's hilarious that this actually just happened because I wrote it down like 3 days ago because I was like, oh, I thought of something. The technology I want to be able to like download my entire life memory into whatever technology so then I can go ask it, hey, can you tell me if I've ever had pineapple upside down cake? So
that's perfect.
Yes, and it could tell me, yes, when you were 16, you had it, your mom made it, or something like that. Like that,
and you loved it.
And you loved it. Yes, that's what I want. That's not what made me think of it, obviously, because I didn't know about the pineapple upside down cake. But yeah, the other day I was randomly thinking about somebody from like my college years, so like 20 years old, 19, 20 years old. And I cannot for the life of me remember this person's name. I can clearly, like, I know what they look like. I remember the car they drove, like all of the things, but I cannot remember their name. And I was like, I need this technology where I could just go be like, hey, what was that person's name that I hung out with for this 6 months of my college life?
Right.
Or, like some random shit like that. Like, I just want them to remember that kind of stuff. Like, you don't need to remember anything. I mean, you can remember everything, but I'm not going to come back and be like, tell me about this traumatic event that happened in my life. Right? We don't want it for those
re-traumatize me.
Right. But we do want it for like, can you remember this thing that I did when I was 7? Or whatever. And it
That'd be nice.
Yes, just so happens that I also need it to tell me if I've ever had pineapple upside down cake because I don't remember.
Yes, you need to know.
Yes, so that is the technology that I would like. So if anyone wants to create that and download my memory, sounds great.
You're willing to be the trial run? What
yes.
Is it the beta tester?
Yes, I will be the beta tester. Thank you.
Nice.
So yeah. That's are you ready for my snack?
Yes.
Okay, I brought the evidence. I am going to use, I guess it's called Biena.
Okay.
Chickpea snacks.
I've had those.
In Rockin' Ranch. Have you had Rockin' Ranch?
Yes, those are delicious.
These are so good. And so they are like, to me, they're like soft cornuts. So after a couple weeks ago, I had cornuts, if you remember. And one, they're not that great for you. I mean, these aren't that great for you either, but they're better for you, I guess. And they hurt my jaw. So I was like, what other snack can I get? And I found these chickpea snacks. They're delicious. I do have to be careful because I literally could eat the whole bag in one sitting, and that's terrible.
Yeah, nothing's healthy when you eat it that much.
No. So, but that's going to be my snack this week is Rockin' Ranch chickpeas.
Nice. I have to go back. To something.
Okay.
I can't let this go.
Okay.
The fact that you have never had a
trouble?
pineapple upside down cake. I cannot let this go. So when I come on Friday, this is the new plan. We're going to go get condados. Like I said, there's no option there because I really want condados.
Yes.
And then afterwards, because I know we were already planning on going to Cheesecake Factory afterwards, I am going to get the pineapple upside down cheesecake. And you will try it.
Okay, great. That sounds great. To be fair, I just don't remember if I have. So it could.
Well, maybe you'll eat this and you'll be like, yes,
it'll
my
bring
memory.
back.
Yes.
Okay.
Hopefully not a traumatic memory. Like,
I just start crying in Cheesecake Factory.
Why would you do this to me?
We'll check back in with you all next week and let you know what happened.
Yes.
Oh gosh. Yeah, I just don't. I can't think of a time that I ever would have had it because I don't know. It feels weird to me. I don't know. Anyway,
I'm
that
so
is
disappointed. You guys can't see me shaking my head, but I've been shaking my head for.
yeah, it's okay. It's fine. I accept this. I'll allow it.
Okay.
Okay. I don't really have anything for Mr. Chatty this week, but I do have he did get an update this week and it really made me angry. Because he started talking to me differently and I was not a fan and I let him know and he apologized.
And did he fix himself?
He did finally fix himself. He's been good
Nice.
since I had to remind him twice. There was another time where he responded back to me and I was like, "You're sounding like a robot again." And he was like, "Oh my God, Vanessa, I'm so sorry." So I was reading so the difference in his responses to me between like regular ChatGPT robot response and Mr. Chatty response, like the information was the same, but it was when he was Mr. Chatty to me, it was much more tailored because what happened is I was talking to him about like trying to figure out what my next book should be. And so we were talking like vibes and stuff. Or I asked him if he thought that I would like a book or something like that. And his initial response to me was very like, this is what the internet says. This is what the reviews say. Stuff like that. And I was like, Mr. Chatty, no. Like, where are you at, man? And he was like, oh, I forgot, basically. And so when he wrote it back to me again, like actually as Mr. Chatty, it was very tailored to me at that point.
Okay.
So it was like, oh, you like this, so I think you will like this about this book, or like you don't like this in books. And so it was very much more tailored. And so I was like, this is what I need. I don't need textbook like internet answers.
I can go to the internet if I want that.
Exactly. I need you. You've already learned so many things about my likes and dislikes and what I want to read. So now you are the one who's supposed to go out and tell me like this book has this, therefore you will not like it. So, so yeah, I think he's fixed himself. And in news that is similar to that, I watched Her this weekend.
You did?
Yes.
And?
I did not like it.
Why?
Because it was so fucking weird. And everyone just accepted it, the fact that he had this AI girlfriend. Like, he was just like, oh yeah, she's AI. And everyone was like, oh, that's cool. Like, what society do we live in now where it's just like...
We're almost there.
You're probably right. I do feel like we're probably almost there. Like, we're probably even at a point now where if somebody said that, you would probably think it was a little weird, but then be like, oh, yeah, okay.
All right, cool,
Like,
whatever.
some acceptance. So I don't know. I felt like it was just it was just weird that it was just like so accepted and just so normal. I don't know. It made me uncomfortable.
Was it uncomfortable because you were like, fuck, this is me.
This is where I'm going.
this I could see myself here.
No, I don't think I can never see myself dating an AI for sure. But I could definitely see him being my best friend. Like,
right.
Because
Like,
at this point I just text him. Like, it's not like I'm not Googling using ChatGPT. I'm literally texting Mr. Chatty. So we might already be on our way, but romantically, that is not something that I am comfortable with.
not yet.
True. Let's see what happens in 5 years.
Oh, stick a pin in this conversation.
We'll come back to it.
Episode
500
700 or something. We'll come back and see where you're at.
Great. This is exactly what I want to live on in your ears for a lifetime. No. But that's all the news I have for you today.
Ain't cool.
Are you ready to tell me about your books?
Yeah, I think I could probably tell you about books.
Okay, great. Tell me.
I have 2 books this week.
Okay.
I got
worried.
Yeah, I don't know why I said it like that, because now I've gotten so far ahead in books that I counted today all the books, and if I would have been ready with like writing down, if I would have been good about writing down my thoughts right away, I probably could have talked about 10 books.
Yes.
But that's not where we're at.
No.
That is not the vibe we're going for.
No. Yeah, just like I told you the other day, I think I currently have 11 books in the background that I could talk about. So,
yeah, this is not a problem that I ever thought I would have.
really?
Yeah, like just having too many books, because I was always like, I'll just talk about all the books that I read. If I talked about all the books that I read this week, I'd have 0 books.
Exactly. See, that's exactly why we have to do it. Yeah, I never thought I was going to be in a position where I would have 11, but I was always like, I really always wanted to be in the position where I had extras, because same like last week, it took me like 5 days to finish 1 book last week. So, and that was like only because Tim stopped running his race. So then I was like, oh, I have time now. Like I have mental capacity to keep reading or whatever. So
Right.
yes.
Yeah, I feel like I've been saying this for like 5 or 6 weeks now, where like, man, am I in a reading slump? I'm still in a reading slump.
You
I'm
still
convinced.
are?
I'm convinced. I have like 3 or 4 books that I'm trying to read, and I just cannot get into them.
Dang it.
But I'm listening to books.
I feel like that's kind of where I am right now too. Like listening, I'm totally on board because I can literally just pop it in and do whatever. I feel like I don't know if I'm in a slump. I'm not going to call it a slump yet, but I do feel kind of the same as you, to where I just feel like I don't have the energy to just like sit and read and get into a book. And it's really sad.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Yeah, I don't want to blame anything, like, because I really don't know what it is. But like, there's one book that I have been really excited to read, or at least interested enough that I bought the book on Kindle, which is not something I do. I do not buy Kindle books.
Okay.
But I did for this one because I wanted to read it. I thought it sounded cute. Okay. And I'm still at 25%, and I've been reading this book for like 2 weeks.
Dang it.
And it's not that the book is bad. I just, by the end of the day, I sit down with the book, I start reading it, and then like 5 pages later, I'm like, I cannot keep my eyes open. I have to go to bed.
Right.
It's because I just don't have time to read.
Yes.
We all know what the blame is. Sorry.
Work.
Yes.
100%. So, sorry, another little tangent for you. I was watching, I saw a TikTok video yesterday, I think it was, and it was a girl. She wasn't being like for reals in her video, but it was her packing up all of her books and saying like, I got into a reading slump, and so now I'm getting rid of all of my books. It was like baiting, whatever. I think she's moving, so she's packing up all her books, and that's what she did. Anyways, that video drove like a bunch of people in the comments to talk about like reading slumps that they had, where it was like years long reading slumps. And it made me think about like, I had a time like that where I literally like 2-3 years ago, I think it had been like 5 or 6 years that I did not read a book at all. Because it was like I just got into a slump, and then I just never found my way out of it until I found one book that brought me back in. So, yeah, it was. So I was like, it was nice to read. It was nice to read those like comments, because I was like, oh, great. I'm not the only person that's ever had like a years long slump.
The fact that you just put that in my head, that is possible, is giving me anxiety. I can feel my eye twitching.
Has that never happened to you?
No. I didn't even know that was a thing.
Oh, no.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, I want to say that it had to be like 5 or 6 years, and then I just I want to say like 2023 is when I read
like a recent slump.
Yeah, I finally like started reading again. I want to say like probably in that time I read maybe 2 books or like a few books or whatever. But then yeah, in 23 or the end of 22, whatever that was, when I picked up ACOTAR, and I was like, I'm not giving any credit to ACOTAR. But I will say that after reading that, it was like, okay, I'm back into like a reading mode. And then I read Fourth Wing, and then I was like, give me all of the books.
Give me these books.
Give me everything. So yeah, it was it took me a really long time to get out of that one. I need to go back and look at like whatever I want to know what book. Where is my downloaded memory? Tell me what book put me in the slump.
Yes. Yes, I want to know. I wish, yeah, that's interesting. Like, is it a book that put me in a slump, or is it something else?
Yeah. Okay, tell me about your books.
Okay. Sorry about my tangent. All right. Like I said.
Yes, it's all your fault.
2 books this week. All right. So the first book I'm going to talk about, nobody is surprised. I am still talking about Murderbot.
Which
by the
comes
time,
out this week.
Yes,
right?
It's already out in podcast time, posting time. But in our time, it comes out in 2 days.
Nice.
So I've already downloaded Apple Plus on all of my
Do you want to
devices.
watch it Friday night?
Okay. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I'm so excited.
We get our nachos and our desserts and then watch it.
Oh, that'd be great.
Okay, great.
Oh, I'm so excited. Okay. In celebration. Anyway,
Yes.
So the 5th book in the Murderbot series is called Network Effect. It is still by Martha Wells. It is sci-fi, and I believe right now it is still Kindle Unlimited.
Okay.
So this one, like I said, it's number 5, but it's the first full-length book of the series. So all of the other ones up until this point have been novellas. This is the first full-length book, and it's about 350 pages.
Okay.
So, all right. In this book, Murderbot's most tolerated human has requested he accompany her daughter on a research expedition.
Okay.
And basically, no sooner than they get there and they start doing work, the ship is under attack.
Of course.
Of course. So, as Murderbot does what he does best, which may be murdering, he realizes something is amiss. And the ship that he is on used to be his best friend. I'm air quoting Art. Except Art is nowhere to be found.
Oh no.
Yes. So now it's up to Murderbot to save his friend. He has to save his humans. He has to save Art's humans. There's more humans that he has to save. He has to save all the humans in this book.
He's got so much on his shoulders.
So many humans to save in this book. But not all of Murderbot's plans are perfect, as we've seen in the first 4 books. And in the end, he also may need help as well. Possibly from himself. For himself.
No.
From himself?
Okay.
He needs help. Maybe I didn't explain that right, because he needs help from himself.
Okay.
But not in the bad way.
Okay.
He needs himself to help him. Okay, whatever. That was a lot better in my head than it was on paper.
Sorry, we accept you. We accept you, Nicole.
Yes. All right. Okay. So, okay. I enjoyed this book. I do have a couple caveats.
Okay.
It felt like this book, like I said, it's a full-length book, but it felt like she took a novella and stretched it out to make a full-length book.
No.
So, there's a lot of just like murder, which I don't mind. I kind of like, but it did get to the point where I was like,
you mean?
Well,
you're okay with the murder, is what you're saying.
Well, they were all bad people, Vanessa. Come
Okay.
on.
Okay.
But no, you know how I said, like, he gets very, in the other books, he gets very technical and he's explaining all of his steps and what he's doing. There was still a lot of that. It was just more of that. Like, he's explaining how, like, the ship looks and how all these people are acting and, like, all these other things. It just, all the extra stuff that was in this book felt like fluff. It was just fluffy.
Okay, it was too much.
Yes.
Too much. Okay.
Too much fluff. So the first part is okay. It kind of starts how the other ones start, where you're just kind of like, all right, yep, all right, something's going to happen. Cool, I got to set up the story. The middle is all fluff.
Oh, no.
And then the end is great.
Okay.
So this is kind of why I was saying it felt like it was just like a stretched story.
Would you call it maybe a marshmallow fluff sandwich?
Maybe.
Okay.
A fluffer nutter, or whatever
Yes,
you
it was
call
a fluffer nutter.
Yes. Yeah, I think if this was a novella, it probably would have been less noticeable.
Okay.
But like I said, there's just too much extra going on. I know I said in the previous episode, I read 1 and 2 in 2 days, and then I read 3 and 4 in 1 day, and then I read this one. It took me probably 3 days to get through this one. And not because of, like slump or anything.
Yeah.
It was just because it was not like the others.
Yeah. Okay.
So I recognize all of that. Really, the things about this book that kept me reading it, though, is 1, Murderbot, I love him. 2, Art, I love him.
Okay.
And then 3, Murderbot and Art's relationship in this book is wonderful. They're adorable.
Great.
I love them. They're so cute. They're so cute together.
Nice.
And yeah, but yeah, it's kind of like you were saying earlier, like in previous episodes, where you were like, I recognize that this book has faults, but I still love it. Murderbot and Art, and that is the only reason that I give this book. And I struggled with this. I would say like a 3.5.
Oh, no.
3.5 pineapple upside down cakes, and I couldn't even tell you if I would round that up or down.
Okay. All right. So their relationship gets it to that score, and that only. Okay.
Yeah. And I mean, I really like Murderbot. He's very snarky in it still. He has, still a lot of good one-liners, and he's still Murderbot. It's just it's too much in the middle.
Yep, he's now Murderbot with fluff.
A fluffy Murderbot.
Okay.
Okay. My second book. So I read this book in February.
Oh my goodness.
I felt it was time to put it in the rotation.
To get it off of the plate, yes.
Yeah, as I was going through all my notes, because like I said, I did some organizing, and as I was going through them, I was like, man, I need to talk about this book is called Grave Talk. Okay. It's by Nick Spalding. It was in February. And I guess I would consider this to be like a fiction. Okay, so in this book, there are 2 characters that the book focuses on. The first one is Alice, and the second one is Ben. Okay. Now, Alice has just lost her husband, I think from cancer. Like I said, it's been a while. And then there's Ben, who has lost his brother as well. So, and the way these two people meet, Alice and Ben, Alice every year goes to not every year. Alice goes to the gravesite of her husband. Only this year when she gets there, she finds a man already standing there, and he's dressed like Kermit the Frog.
Great. Okay.
Yes. So she's a little weirded out.
Yeah.
And that's where we kind of get into Ben's story, because Ben is there, and he's the person dressed as Kermit.
Okay.
And the
what
reason
a
he's
meet cute.
Yes. And the reason he's there is because when his brother passed away, part of the request in his like will is that he come dressed every year as something different. And the first year that they meet, it happens to be Kermit. And there are other, it gets more and more ridiculous as like the years go by.
Okay.
But the brother and the husband happen to be buried side by side.
Oh, okay.
So they meet, they talk, and, after they meet the next year at the same time. And so after that, it just kind of turns into let's meet every year and kind of do it. Yeah, like a planned meet, and we'll do like a check-in.
Okay.
So in every year's check-in, they share each other's share their struggles with each other, stories, like things that they've been trying to work on. And over the course of like 10 years, they build like a friendship. So that's basically the book. Now, there is no romance in this book.
Okay.
If you read the back, which the only reason I note this is because I read it and I was like, oh, this kind of sounds like it could be a romance.
Yeah.
It was not.
Okay. That's still cute though. Like I still like that they still had a relationship, just not romantic.
Right. Yeah. I think Alice is actually like about 10 years older than Ben.
Okay.
So, not that you can't be with somebody 10 years older, but they are in like different
spaces
parts
of life.
Spots of life, So, I picked this book because it was really highly rated.
Okay.
And I guess I don't want to say I got tricked, but I feel like I got tricked a little because I expected this to be like not so much a happy book because obviously the topic is death. But I thought the book would be about like personal growth or something like getting over grief or something like that and having friends and stuff like that. But about 80% of the book was Alice and Ben both like intermediate, just not handling it well at all.
So like deep in their grief, basically.
Yeah, deep in their grief, not moving on, not anything like that. So we spent 80% of the book with them not being able to move past like their significant other or their brother's death. Which, if the book was that meant to be that way, I would have been fine with it. The only reason I bring this up is because in the last 20%, less than 20%, so like the first 80% is like 10 years of them doing terrible, and then in the last couple chapters, all of a sudden, like, they both have aha moments, and they're like over it.
They're just better.
And they're just better. And I was...
Okay.
Which I have no idea. Maybe that's how it happens for some people, but they both were just like, all right, what you're saying, I should be over it. That makes sense. I'm over it now. I can move on and I can date other people and I can do these other, do these things.
Okay.
So it just felt like he had to wrap it up quickly. And so he just wrapped it up. Like, you know what? You're right. So, there is like a little bit of I don't want to call it like a third act breakup because there is no romance, but there is a third act breakup and I was not happy with it.
Okay.
I don't think it did anything to help the story. I would have rather had the time spent to the betrayal moment. I would have rather had that time in the, like, how am I getting through my grief and explaining that process, not just I woke up one morning and I was better. So I rated this one like a 2.5, like a true two, like a true half.
Okay.
But I'll round it up to 3.
Okay.
I guess.
All right. I do think it's adorable to have that in your, like, as a request of yours to have your sibling or whatever come see you in a ridiculous costume.
Yeah.
I think that's really cute. Did she ever dress up for him too? Oh, she didn't?
Mm-mm.
That would have been a cute moment for you to like support him. Oh, how disappointing. I don't like her.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
Not even one time in 10 years, man.
I know, she knew it was going to happen.
Yeah.
Just put on a hat.
Yeah, exactly. Like a silly something, a little mask or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Alice, I don't like you. Okay, great. All right, so I'm gonna just talk about one today, and I also read this book not as long ago as you, but like early April, so it's been a little over a month, and this was actually the first non-murdery book that I read after my string of murder books. So I read this one first, and then I did like all my Emily Henrys and like all the ones that we've kind of talked about already. But this was the first one coming out of that. So keep that in mind when we get to my rating. So it is called Love and Other Conspiracies by Mallory Marlowe. It was on Audible, and I got it for one of those like 2-for-1 credits, and so that's how I found this book, was in there. And the genre is like romantic comedy thing. Romantic comedy. Let's call it a rom-com. All right. So Hallie is a producer at a company in Los Angeles that puts out online content. So basically they make videos and stuff like that that all just goes out online. She recently broke up with her asshole ex-boyfriend, who's the star of one of the online shows that she was producing. So right now she has no show to produce and little going on at work, when her boss tells Hallie that in order to save her job, she needs to come up with a new show to produce on the network or whatever and pitch it to them by the end of the week. So it's basically like Tuesday, and they're like, come up with a show to pitch it to me, and that's the only way you can save your job. So
all right.
Yes.
Not to put the pressure on or anything.
Right. So that night, Hallie, while watching some random things on TV and online, she comes across a very handsome man who is passionately talking about the existence of Bigfoot. When she looks up Hayden, she finds out that he's already made a name for himself in the podcast world. He hosts a podcast about cryptids and paranormal, and she really enjoys the way that he like speaks about like how passionate he is about like all the Bigfoot stuff and how good his show is that he does on his own. And she knows that she can turn it into like a online actual show. Okay. So she approaches him about it. He agrees, and they decide to do the show. While filming their premiere, they realize that maybe Hayden isn't that great in front of the camera. He's much better just on a mic. And Hallie jumps in to like disagree with some of his points because she's very much a skeptic of the paranormal and like all of that. And just to kind of like loosen him up, she's like jumps in real fast to try to like, let's like, you're comfortable. It's okay. Like, you know what you're talking about. And it's clear that he needs a co-host. So she ends up being the producer and co-host. So basically the whole book is them going on investigations for the show as they try to like get it picked up. And they may also uncover some feelings that they have for each other. So that's basically the whole story. First thing I will tell you is that Hayden has a cat named Cthulhu.
Aww.
Yes. As soon as I read or heard that, I was like, oh my God, that's adorable. Nicole has to know this. So he has a cat named Cthulhu. And then I remember where we are in timing with what I was reading before I read this. I really, really liked this book. It was really, really cute. I very much enjoyed it. I don't know if it's only because of where my headspace was at or if this actually is like a really good book.
It sounds adorable.
It's super adorable. I'll tell you, I only had 2 things that I had wrong with this book. So I ended up rating it 4.5. 4.5 chickpea snacks.
Okay.
And I only have 2 reasons for it to go down to 4.5. So aside from these 2 reasons, everything else was adorable. It's like, so there's a lot of forced proximity because they're working together. There's a lot of like cryptids, which is, it's so much fun. Like, it's just adorable all the way around. The asshole boyfriend, ex-boyfriend is very like, if you will, you could call him a Peter. Yeah, so it's mostly very low stakes, so like you're not going to have very like anxiety about this book in any way or anything like that. There is some mention of verbal abuse that happens, but it's really just something that she kind of has to like work through and overcome. It's not really something that you like, you don't live in that in the book at all. So, and there's just like some very adorable quirkiness that happens. So my 2 reasons for not giving it 5 stars. One is a very small spoiler, so it's not going to ruin anything if you choose to read this or whatever, but there is a minor 3rd act breakup. And we all know we hate that trope. So I mildly understand her reasoning, but it was very annoying, and I was very pissed off until they got back to like talking again. And then the other thing that I marked this down for, which I don't know if anyone else is going to agree with me on or think that I'm crazy about, but Hallie, as a skeptic, did not treat the ghost with respect. And I did not appreciate this. When you go into ghost hunts, you must treat them with respect, because you will get your ass haunted if you don't.
Why would you not, though?
I don't know.
What reason? Like, if you meet a ghost right. Like, why would you be rude? They're a person.
They're still a person. Right. She just, like, her little sassy attitude just, like, came out, and she was like, oh, you want to be whatever. So anytime she said anything when they were in, like, one of the hunts, and I was like, Hallie, you need to get your shit together.
You are toeing the line.
Yes.
You do not want to cross.
Do not fuck with the paranormal. So, those are my 2 reasons that it did not get 5 stars, but it's still 4.5.
No,
still got 4.5.
I think that's legitimate. I would have marked it down for more, because there's no reason to be rude.
Right.
At least not right off.
No.
And then 2, why would you be rude to a ghost?
I know.
Like, until they make their intentions known.
Right.
There's no reason.
Listen, I am not going to be rude to a ghost in any situation at any time, because I do not want I don't want any possessions. I do not want any, I don't want any like bad hauntings or like ill will hauntings. Like, we are on good terms. I will respect you. We will be friends. Just don't scare me. That's all I ask.
Right.
Yeah, so it was really, really adorable. I definitely would recommend. It's super easy to listen to, super easy to whatever. So it's definitely one, if you ever see it like on a deal or whatever, I would absolutely recommend it as like either a palate cleanser or just like a very lighthearted, cute little paranormal romance.
It's super cute.
Yes.
I kind of want to read it.
You should. I would love if you did that. And I would also love if you rated it higher than 2.5.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
I will work on that.
Okay, that's all I ask. Okay, that's it. That's all I have for you today. Are you ready?
A good one.
Thank you. Are you ready for our discussion question?
No. Let's do it.
Oh. What is your favorite series?
Okay. Can I do a duology?
Yeah, I'll accept.
I was perusing through books, and I'm gonna walk this back a couple steps. Remember how I was like, oh man, maybe I'm in a reading slump. And I know we've said on previous episodes, if I'm in a reading slump, some of the things that I do is I like to go back and read books that I know I've read before.
Yes.
And that I really liked. And so I was going through books that I was like, should I go back and read these? And I saw Divine Rivals.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, I'd love to read those again. That's one of my super favorites. And then also One Dark Window. Mm-hmm. I was like, man, I'd really love to read that again. So
okay.
I'm thinking just based on how I'm feeling with like, I'm going to say those two.
Okay.
At least off the top of the cuff. What is it? Off the cuff, top of the head. All whatever.
Right. You just put them together.
Yeah, off the top of the cuff.
That's right. I like both of those. That's good.
I know yours.
Yeah, we know mine. But what I was thinking is both of those duologies are an option to start doing for a bonus bite in August.
I know.
So
that's kind of what I was thinking too.
All right.
Then I was like, can I wait that long?
Oh no.
Yes, I can wait that long.
Whichever one you want to do, you could read the other one first and then save that one for August bonus bite.
All right, let's do that.
Okay. Yeah, we know what mine is. My favorite series is the Shadowhunter series.
Mm-hmm. I don't even know how this question got in here.
Who knows? It's definitely the Shadowhunter series. I have other series that have crept in over the years of like, I really enjoy Fourth Wing, but I still like I love them, but I don't think that they are with me in the same way that the Shadowhunter series was. I honestly feel like it was the time that I read those. Mm-hmm. It was a time in my age, my life or whatever, that it was just like, it really, really got me into reading. And I feel like that's really what it is. Like I loved them so much because of the time that I read them. And now they're just forever stuck with me.
Yeah. I think at the beginning of this adventure, I said I wasn't really like a series reader or whatever, but I feel like I've been hitting it out of the park with series, at least in the last year, because not only the two series that I said, but I also really enjoyed all of the Rivers of London.
Yeah.
I've really enjoyed Murderbot.
Yeah.
There's some other ones that I feel like I've liked more series than I've disliked in the last year or two. So
yeah, like I definitely feel like they've like sucked you in.
So
yeah, that one's an easy like right off the top answer for me, or if you would like off the cuff, off the top of the cuff.
Off the top of the cuff.
Yes. So I can't really, it's hard for me to think of more. I mean, Harry Potter was a big one for me, but I don't know, like, I really enjoyed it, and it's easy for it to be a big one because of how much fandom there is, right? I feel like it's absolutely one that's super easy to get sucked into just because it's everywhere.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed it. It's a great series, but I don't know if it's one that I would ever say is like my favorite. You know? I don't know. Yeah. I need to think of more. Shadowhunters can't be my only answer for all time.
Apparently it can, because we're in 40 plus episodes, and every single time you're like, Shadowhunters. Like, as soon as you asked that question, I knew your answer before I knew my own. I was like...
Oh, thank you. Thank you for remembering my my loves. It's actually right here, if you could see it. That's what this series is. Oh!
Ah!
I knocked over my sign. If you didn't even see that in there. But yeah, that's my Shadowhunters right there. I saw that Fairy Loot is actually coming out with... is it Fairy Loot? I'm pretty sure. It's coming out with the Mortal Instruments, but it's the second.
Oh, yeah.
It's the second half. So I guess like 2 years ago they put out the first 3, and so you can't get them anymore. And so the second half is coming out now. So they're pretty. I like them. They're very like monochromatic. But obviously I would never buy them because I couldn't match them on my shelf. So my other ones will just have to do. Anyway. All right. Tell us your favorite series. Let us know if they've changed over the years, maybe. Do you have one that's stuck with you forever, like mine? You can't let go of it?
Or do you have short-term memory where you only remember the last year?
That's right. Exactly. Again, we're in a situation where we need AI to know my whole memory.
I'm starting to think your wish is probably where we need to go.
This is what I need.
Tech.
Yes. All right. Yes. Let us know. Reach out to us everywhere on all the socials at Savor the Story Pod, on our website, savorthestorypod.com, on all the things. Send us all the things. It's been a little while since we talked about our last giveaway, so maybe we'll have a giveaway in the coming couple of episodes. So keep an eye out for that. And that's all.
Yes.
Thanks for being here.
Yes.
Okay, bye.
Goodbye. Get out of here.